Welcome back. This video is about components in REVIT. REVIT thinks of components which are families, but not necessarily architecture. My favorite example would be, or analogy would be furniture. So components in REVIT, or furniture REVIT, excuse me, can be downloaded from a vendor. It could be in the file as a generic. That's what I'm going to show you today. Or you can also download some, and I'm going to show you that also from REVIT's library. So let's get going on that. But there is also the option of modeling from scratch. And the one thing that most people either forget about or don't know about REVIT is it's a very powerful modeling tool. Beyond just building information modeling, you can model dumb objects. Almost anything you model in Rhino can be modeled in REVIT, and similarly, almost anything, actually anything you model in SketchUp can be modeled in REVIT. So it is quite honestly a one-stop shop. There are some things using plugins like Dynamo, and I'll do a video about Dynamo later. But there are plugins that you can replicate anything that Rhino can do. So I think REVIT could be your one and only tool. I do find SketchUp a little easier and faster for certain things, but that's not the fault of the tool. That's just what I'm comfortable with. So let's dig into what you can do. Again, using the component tool, there are a few things that come right out of the box, such as desks and parking spaces and RPC content. RPC stands for Realistic Photographic Content, and it is intended to be used with photoreal renderings, which you can also do in REVIT, and I will show you in another video. But for today's example, I'm just going to choose this desk, and I'm going to place it in my three-dimensional scene, right? So I'm already in a 3D view, and there's my desk. Now let's say if I wanted a chair to go with that desk. Well, there is one already, but I'm going to choose Insert, Load Autodesk Family, and type in chair. And if you weren't already there, right, it looked like this when you first loaded it. You type in chair, and these are my options. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of chairs from vendors that you can download that are REVIT capable or REVIT compatible. But for today's purpose, I'm just going to download this simple one. Go back to the architecture tab, choose component, and here is the chair I just downloaded. I'm going to place it in my scene, and then there we go. So it's very, very simple to place objects and to make your renderings come alive, or your plans. So the other thing I'm going to show you, and again, components, model and place components could be an entire semester with all the strength and power that the software has. So I'm just going to show you some very dumb examples of what you can do. So component, model, and place. Now the first thing it's going to ask you is what kind of family is it? So family category. In this case, it's furniture. So I'm going to scroll down and find furniture. And it says, well, what do you want to call this thing? I'm going to call this desk 2. Okay, so it's called desk 2. And I'm just going to do a simple extrusion. So, and again, if you hover over any of these tools, it will give you an example of what it does. And if you hit F1, it'll bring up an information dialog to show you how to do that thing. A help, if you will. So hit extrusion. Now, before I draw anything or model anything, in my properties box, the constraints of this model, meaning the extrusion, the depth of it is 1 foot. I actually want that to be 1.5 inches because I think that's what the top of that desk is. I don't know what the material is, so I'm going to leave that alone for right now. But most importantly, I have to know what plane I'm modeling in. Am I modeling in the floor? Am I modeling in a vertical? So if I start to draw something, you'll notice that it looks vertical. So I think that means it's trying to model in a vertical way. And so I'm going to change my plane to, using the set tool, I'm going to change my plane from whatever it was to level 1. and it highlights that to let me know that, okay, that's a floor, that's like a floor plan view, or sorry, that's a horizontal plane. And so that is what I want. So I'm going to select this, and I'm going to drag out. It doesn't really matter what it is, unless you want to be more accurate than me. Then you might type in the things that you want this to be, right? So 6 feet. Remember, anything that's in blue has the ability to be manipulated. So it's essentially a taskable element. So I just made this thing 30 inches deep and 6 feet wide. So hit OK, and notice it already has the thickness that I gave it, and so we're good to go. Now, it looks like I shortened it too much. So I'm going to show you a real quick editing tool that I find valuable, and that's the Align tool. So that's this guy here. So I choose Align, and I want this surface to be aligned. I want this surface to be aligned with that one. So I choose the reference point first, and then I pick the thing I want to move to it, and that's what happened. And so I'm just going to rotate around this, and the shortcut way of doing that is hold down the Shift and hold down the the scroll wheel of your mouse, and those two things will allow you to rotate while in a command. So I'm going to choose my reference and then move the plane, rotate around, choose my reference, and align the plane. And so now I think I have the right height, the right front edge, right back edge. Now I need the bottom edge. And so in Revit, when you're trying to select something and you don't get the thing you really want, if you hit Tab, it will run through a series of selections for you. And so that is highlighting the bottom of that surface. That's what I want. So I choose that. I choose the bottom of my plane, and now it's the same. So I hit OK, and I'm done with that. At least I'm done with that surface, right? And so it looks pretty good. I'm going to edit it just to make sure, because this one is 72. That's 6 feet wide. So I'm going to edit this one just to make sure. Edit again. 6 feet, good. I'm the same width, same height, same depth, same everything. Now, I'll notice something else. This is the model, right? If I hit edit in place, notice that I still have to get back to the original extrusion geometry. I have to hit edit extrusion. That's because this family is understood to be a series of extruded elements, not just a single element, right? So that's why it's given me the option to model something else under the Create tab without necessarily manipulating this element. Okay, so I'm going to now create these pedestals, and for purposes of time, I'm not going to draw the little feet at the bottom. I'm just going to create the pedestals on either side. And so in order to do this, I'm going to change my work plane to this front edge of the desk. So I do that by selecting the Set tool, then pick a plane. I'm going to pick the front edge of this desk surface. And now if I model something, I'm modeling on that edge, right? So I'm just going to model a very fast rectangle rectangle. And let's say I'll make it 18 inches wide and 1 foot 10 deep, which is what that is. And then I'm going to hit OK. Now, I didn't change the depth of that thing, and so it took that surface and extruded towards me 1.5 inches. That's not correct, but it's a simple fix. So again, I'm going to use the Align tool. I'm going to select the back edge by hovering over the edge of that plane, that surface. Hit Tab one time. There's the back edge. I'm going to select the back edge of mine, and then now that's there. And then I'll do the same with the front edge. Boom. So there we go. That's that model. And the bottom I'm not entirely sure is accurate either. So I'm actually going to model it to the bottom of that caster or that foot. So that's my reference point. I select that and I choose that reference point, and then now we're there. So very, very fast replication of that. The next one is kind of cheating, I think it is, at least in my book it is. Instead of modeling all that over again, I'm simply going to mirror it. So I'm going to choose the object I want to mirror, use the mirror tool, select the midpoint of this top and drag over. Oop, that didn't do it because I'm in the wrong plane. Select the mirror point, select the object to mirror, midpoint, drag down, and then there's a mirror of that object. So in that way, very quickly, I was able to model a desk from scratch, and I didn't have to import anything. Now, if you can imagine, again, as I said, this is a very powerful tool, and you could spend a semester learning all the tricks, tips and tricks to model anything that you want to model. You can model using this tool. This is just a simple introductory topic and model to start with. So hopefully that was of value. Thanks for watching. If you found value in that video, I would appreciate if you would like it and share it with others. If you're not already a subscriber, I encourage you to subscribe using the profile picture below. And while you're there, select the announcement bell so that you'll get notified of new videos as they become available. Finally, those videos are going to be organized in a playlist like the ones here around a specific topic. Hopefully you find those valuable too and you would like and share. Have a great rest of your day.